Oh, yeah. What's up, everybody? And welcome to episode 20 of the Sailor Jerry podcast. My name is Matt Cothran. I am still your host, and I am coming to you live on location from Corpus Christi, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, take a look outside the hotel room. Take a look at Corpus Christi Bay right there. Oh, man, isn't she a beaut? Yeah. Don't you even think about trying to open up that door and get some fresh air, because this is not the Ritz-Carlton, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Holiday Inn, and that door is locked. You cannot access the fresh air or the balcony. They do not trust your boy on the balcony, but it's all good. It's all good. So we're here. We're kicking back on the Boston to Berkeley tour tomorrow with the Bronx, Rancid, and of course Dropkick Murphys. It's been a wild September. But before we dive into it, it's my duty to remind you that Sailor Jerry Spiced Rum is made the old school way. 92 proof, bold and smooth as hell. I'm super stoked that we're on episode 20. With each passing episode, it just feels like we're still just, I'm learning a shit ton. I got to be honest with you. I'm having a lot of fun. And now the YouTube page is starting to crack, so that's all good. We're doing good there. We're on YouTube. If you're listening on, Apple iTunes or Spotify, however you listen, go check out the YouTube page when you get a chance. Leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe to the podcast if you can. All that shit helps, man. We're having a lot of fun doing this, and it seems like you guys are enjoying it. So thanks for your time. Thanks for the attention. It means a lot, man. It's cool. So, we just finished Punk Rock Bowling in Las Vegas. That was awesome. I mean, Riot Fest was the week before that. We'll get into that, but Punk Rock Bowling's fresh on the dome, so we'll roll with that first. We played yesterday at 5:55. We played for 30 minutes of madness, which is, it's not a lot of time, but it's like one of those things where you try to pack, the most powerful punch that you can in 30 minutes, so it felt really, really good to be back. So many amazing bands at the festival this weekend. You got to see Circle Jerks, of course. They were absolutely amazing. I got to see the Descendants on Friday night. They were absolutely incredible. That band, it was a trip. I was watching them and just thinking about, when I was in high school, man, listening to Descendants and just like what those songs meant to me, still mean to me. So it was really cool to have that moment. Lots of other great bands too. I saw Youtha today, old New York hardcore band. If you guys are out there, you haven't heard Youtha today, you definitely got to check it out. Their singer Ray Capo he's a big inspiration for me personally. His vocal style is completely out of control. There's no one like him at all. And it was actually my first time seeing them. So that was a really cool moment for me. And just a punk rock bowling vibe, man. It was back, the Stern brothers, the guys who put that on, Mark and Sean Stern from Youth Brigade, they, it's their baby, man. I think it's the 22nd year, something like that. And it was just super cool to have it back. A lot of bands had issues because of COVID. It was postponed for a year and a half. But it finally went off. It was sold out. COVID protocols were in full effect. But the fans and the bands and everyone involved was just so happy to be there. It was a really, really cool experience. So that's Punk Rock Bowling. That was fucking yesterday, so we were in Vegas yesterday, off the hook. It was awesome. The weekend before that, we were in Chicago for Riot Fest. And Riot Fest is another one where, that's a monster festival. They had some huge acts, They had a bunch of bands drop off, 9 Inch Nails dropped off, Faith No More dropped off. but a bunch of bands stepped up. Slipknot played, Run the Jewels played, obviously Bronx was there. We played. It was an amazing festival. So it feels really good to be playing fests again. There's something just really different about it, especially for punk rock bands, because we're so used to playing clubs. Punk rock exists in clubs. We all know that. So anytime you get a chance to really get out and stretch it out amongst a bunch of different genres, amongst a bunch of different stages, in beautiful cities like Chicago, it's a blessing. It's an absolute blessing. So that was really fucking cool. And now we're back in the mix here. Corpus Christi, checking Corpus Christi off the list. Tour starts tomorrow. Really, really looking forward to it. So, off the top of my dome, that's pretty much all I got. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update and also just share with you, that I'm so stoked about where the podcast is heading. And if there's a way for you guys to interact or let me know, what you'd like to see or what guests you want to hear or whatever, just, jump on the YouTube, leave a comment or shoot me an email at the SayTheJerryPodcast@gmail.com and we'll get it going, So without further ado, it's time for episode 20, baby. Wade McNeal is as professional a musician as a punk rocker can get, ladies and gentlemen. In this awesome episode, we discuss Wade's complete discography, starting, of course, with post-hardcore, aka Screamo Gods, Alexisonfire. We, of course, talk about Wade's time in Gallows, a band that he still fronts and still kicks ass in. But the main focus of the pod, ladies and gentlemen, is Wade's brand new Chopper Daddy solo project called Doom's Children. The songs are awesome, and the record comes out October 20th. So let's just dive right in. Grab your biker vest, make some poutine, pour yourself some Sailor Jerry, and let's go.
My mother's death, we all grieved in our own way, but this took away my breath. Been running since last year, trying to numb it out. Alone in the shadow, hopelessness and doubt. I'm begging you.
Okay. Look at that beautiful face. Yeah, man. What's shaking?
Just in St. Catharines, Ontario.
Yeah.
Where I've found myself back to during COVID. Moved out of Toronto, back in the city I grew up in. It's pretty chill.
Nice. Is how far away from Toronto is St. Catharines?
It's like 2 hours outside the city.
Nice. What does it feel like being back there?
The woman at the sushi restaurant recognized me and was like, "I can't believe you're back."
We thought you got out of here for all of us.
Yeah, that happened. So the woman that owns the one sushi spot recognized me tonight. She was pretty pumped I'm back. And then it's like me getting DMs that are like, "Hey, Wade, was that you at the Lake Street 7-Eleven?" I'm like, "Yeah."
You're getting spotted at the 7-Eleven like that?
Send me a fucking 7-Eleven fucking follow-up DM. Just give me a thumbs up.
Yeah, sometimes there's just too much access for people out there.
We could have had a weird encounter while I was getting a fucking frozen Coke. We don't need to have a weird encounter while I'm flipping through my DMs.
No, absolutely not. What was it like growing up there? So you like born and raised there?
Yeah, I was born and raised here. All the dudes in Alexisonfire are from here.
Hell
It's
yeah.
yeah, it's like a lot of other small cities. There's not a lot going on, so um, I think I don't know. I feel sometimes if I grew up in a bigger place, like, would I give a fuck about music as much, or would
Yeah.
it have been some like thing that passed me by? Like I got into punk for like 2 minutes if I lived in Toronto or something like that. But like, yeah, I don't know. I just became like a lot of small places, like nothing much to do, so I just like spent a lot of time skateboarding and playing guitar. And all the other dudes in the band, like in Alexis, are all the other guys that I like skated with. And fucking my our bass player Chris like lives close to me, so we like played on the same fucking hockey team when we were like 7 years old. So yeah,
So you're back, baby. You're back.
back. It's good to be back.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of truth to what you're saying that like sometimes, if like something like music or punk especially, it has to travel a little bit further to find you. I think it does mean a little bit more, I think you hold on to it a little bit closer. Maybe it would have just been a flash in the pan if you were in a big bad city growing up.
Maybe I don't know. Just with more access to like weird shit. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah,
Maybe I
yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
find myself on your podcast today.
Hey, we're very, very fortunate to have you, my man. Thank you for saying yes. It's
All
cool,
good.
man, because we've crossed paths a zillion times, obviously, and we're friends, but I really don't know, that much about you. So this is a cool opportunity for me to kind of get inside that dome of yours and find out what's going on. So thank you. So thank you for being a guest, man.
Sure, man.
So let's start with music. All right. So you're growing up, you're skateboarding. How did music hit you first? Was it learning how to play guitar? Was there a certain record, or did you grow up in a musical household, or when did music first kind of take hold?
I think it probably would have coincided with me like getting a guitar, probably being in, I don't know, maybe grade 6 or 7. Like I was pretty young. And then I think probably around that time getting some like buying my first CDs, which would have been, like I guess the kind of like big grunge CDs.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
getting like Pearl Jam 10, Nevermind, um, uh, some Soundgarden records. And that was kind of like, yeah, the first stuff I got into that felt like this is my own thing, and just like wore those records out. And then a very, very important thing in my like musical journey is me getting wanting to do guitar lessons. And then the guitar teacher that I randomly got paired with or whatever, there was like a few different guys out of the shop. But the guy that taught me, his name was Dennis, and he would have been like in his later years of high school. And he was just like this super goth dude. And Dennis had like probably a bigger impact on my musical career and trajectory than like anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was in this like he was in a few bands
Yeah.
mentioning locally in Niagara. Number one, Martyr Diablos Martyr.
Oh, good
Okay.
name. Good name.
Later going on to playing the Wicked Voodoo Cannibal Cult.
Oh,
Fuck yeah. So like the first like show I saw, there wasn't like a big concert. And I think like the first concert I went to was like John Mellencamp with my
oh
dad.
yeah.
But like the first like show I ever saw was like going to see Dennis's band play, going to see Martyr Diablos Martyr play. And so like he really exposed me to like a ton of stuff. At this point I was starting to like listen to like a little bit of metal, like I knew who White Zombie and Metallica were and
Yeah.
stuff. I was like bringing that stuff in. I'd like tape a song off that, and
Yeah.
I'd bring it in. He'd like show me how to play it. But he was like, like showed me who the Misfits were, and like
Yeah.
started like teaching me about punk. And so he's like a huge influence on me, like finding stuff when I was younger.
Yeah, shout out Dennis, man. That's cool. Do you think he was like working like guitar lessons as like a work release program for like prison or something? Or like maybe he had maybe he had like priors or something.
I don't think it was that sinister. You know, I wish it was that spooky. I
What
ran
if
into him and he
he
was like,
taught you how to play guitar and then he just disappears into thin air and never seen from again?
I'm
That's
pretty sure
fucking great.
he's a teacher now. Like
Hey, there you go.
teacher. So there must be no priors.
Yeah, no, they can't be priors. They can't be or statute of limitations. Maybe it was just some
Okay,
petty theft or something like that. You know, I don't know why I'm trying to turn Dennis into a convict. I don't know why.
Good guy.
But yeah, that's fucking cool, man. And all those records you mentioned are so great. It's like I think you know, one of the things that I kind of forget about is that first I don't know if it's first technically or the second, but the Los Exorcisto White Zombie record. Dude, when that record came out, dude, and like Thunder Kiss was jamming and like, dude, that song and that video, I was like, holy fuck, man, this shit is so awesome.
Also, I think like at that time, like the age I was when I got that, like I was like, oh my God, there's like cartoon boobs
Yeah.
on this album sleeve. And I was like at an age where it's like, that was,
yeah, that was enough.
boobs I was seeing was like, was a cartoon boob.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's fucking cool. That's really cool. And then so I'm curious out of the grunge hole, who was your favorite out of Soundgarden, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, and well, let's just throw in Alice in Chains. Who are your favorite out of the big four?
I mean, I definitely had those Alice in Chains records too, but definitely Soundgarden.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, you know, it's kind of, I find it a bit hard sometimes, like going back to stuff that you listen to death. And like that stuff, I just listen to it so much, and you know, it's on the radio so much that it's kind of like I'm not casually putting on a lot of those records. But like Soundgarden, I can go back to and still fucking rip Bad Motorfinger. Like it still slays.
Yeah, it definitely does. I went through. I love them all too. I love Alice in Chains a lot, but for me, it's really probably just the first two records. But I went through a wild Pearl Jam hole. That's like they're one of those bands that you can't, you know, as a punk rocker, it's kind of frowned upon. You know, you can't really publicly state, you know, your love for Pearl Jam, but they got a lot of great songs and a lot of great records. I think they're probably the band that I listened to the least back then and probably the most maybe now. You know, I think Nirvana is definitely the best out of all of them, though. Soundgarden was actually my least favorite.
I mean, I really can't argue the Nirvana thing.
No, you can't.
You're
can't,
right.
Man.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. You're right. They're pretty big. Right on, man. So after you got some you know, technical skill and spiritual guidance from Dennis, he's showing you punk rock, he's teaching you how to play guitar. You know, what happened from there? How did Alexis come together?
It was kind of all of my buddies that I was like going to shows with. We were all playing in like different bands around here. And then I think it was all kind of the dudes that took it the most serious, like wanted to do it the most.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a small city. And so we just started, you know, jamming. And I think because all of us were like fucking really, really wanted to do it. Like when we started the band, we just started like, you know, playing out of town a lot, like made a demo right away, got a van pretty quick. And like, just, fucking went at it.
Yeah.
And we were all so young, like we were still in high school. So there was like a certain amount of me like trying to finish high school while like touring.
That's pretty awesome.
It was at a time when I'm going on a tour.
Yeah.
I tell someone I'm going on a tour. Shows in a row. You know?
Sorry, Teach, I'm going on tour.
Yeah, I go on tour. But like, what a real kind of fucking crazy thing was that last year of high school, there was like a new principal at my school, and he just was a very normal guy.
Yeah.
He like called me into his office like the first day, and he's like, I know this band stuff's going well for you. And like, I know that's what you want to do. Don't drop out of school. Like, I'm gonna talk to all your teachers. We're gonna push you through the year, but just like work with me. Like, you can't miss more than like 63 days or whatever it was, you know? And I was like, okay. And he he helped me graduate. Was like
That's
a
cool, man.
very normal guy. And on my last year of high school, he was me for Halloween.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He called me.
That's bad.
They did the thing where he's like, Wade McNeal to the principal's office, and then everyone goes, "Ooh," in class, and then I was like, "Fuck, what have I done?" Probably just high as shit too.
Yeah.
Something like at the time, like. So I went down to his office, and he was like, "Yeah, you got like you're always wearing that Misfit shirt. Can I borrow that from you for Halloween?" I was like, "This is a strange moment." Anyways, he was a good dude, and then I graduated high school, and then like started touring like full time.
Did it take off pretty quick?
Yeah, we put out the first record in 2001, and I mean, I don't think it like took off, but like there was a bit of a vibe. But like those shows that we were like the bands we were trying to play with were like a lot of them were playing basements and stuff like that, and like Legion halls. So that's what we were trying to do. Is like we weren't playing a lot of clubs at the beginning. We were playing like spaces, right?
Yeah.
And then yeah, like we our second record came out on Equal Vision. We started touring the States a lot more.
That's the one with the green cover, right? Is that Watch Out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably would have been around the same like the time I saw you guys play like for the first time. I think. I know we played Hellfest on the same day.
Oh, were you part of the Amazing Hellfest 04 experience?
I was at Hellfest 04, and I saw you guys play that day.
Oh man, yeah, that was a legendary. That was like we were just like, what the hell? We had no experience in the in the hardcore community at all, really. And that was kind of a hardcore event. And it was so funny. I mean, it was like I have a bunch of friends who were all randomly either at that show or played in it or whatever. Yeah. And it's become this thing where it really was like an absolutely insane event. I mean, it was bonkers.
The thing that I remember your set that day, because I remember, and probably maybe because of what you just said, like, I don't know, we didn't have like a lot of like connection to like that type of hardcore or whatever. Like, I remember you guys starting, and as soon as you hit the like, you just like ran out, stage dove, beginning of this, set the tone. I was like, oh goddamn. But the thing that I also remember about that day is the dude that owns Equal Vision, Steve, was in that old New York hardcore band NYC Wolfpack. Okay. And he's just like kind of like OG New York hardcore guy. And we played that day. He was watching, and I mean, if you're a really old school New York hardcore guy, I don't know if Alexis is your cup of tea. It definitely wasn't his. But we finished the show, and he was like standing there, and I was like, "What's up, Steve?" And he was like, "That was some of the lamest stage diving I've ever seen." I was like, "Great to see you again." And he was right.
And he was right. Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't pick your stage divers. That's the thing. You just can't do it sometimes. And depending on where you're at, like, in England, they still do that like full, they like still get fully stretched out, and they like kind of just like plank out into the crowd. It's pretty amazing, but you can't pick your stage divers.
You're going to Punk Rock Bowling in a couple of days. Like, there's a good chance you guys are going to play, and someone's going to stage dive wearing a backpack.
Oh yeah, I hate the backpack stage diver. Not a fan.
Yeah,
not a fan of the backpack stage diver.
We can all agree.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Were you around for the Bad Luck 13 show at that Hellfest when they started like throwing chairs and shit? People were trying to explain to me like, oh, they're so badass. It's like they just basically like just destroy everything. And I was just like, I get that that's badass, but I don't understand like how that's a band. Like what? What is that? Like,
I was still there. Like, I was at our merch, and then someone was like, "Bad Luck 13's playing. Someone's throwing like saw blades." And I was just like, "I'm gonna stay at merch." So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
literally the way someone was like describing it to me though, that was like came over was just like, the guy had a fucking flamethrower or something like that. Like I
Yeah.
don't know what
Yeah.
actually went down, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. I know. I caught it in passing and didn't really see anything, but I feel like every time people talk about it, it's a flamethrower, it's tables, it's saw blades, it's like pandemonium,
Yeah.
So yeah, but that was Hellfest 04 was a legendary event. So I'm glad you were there. That's cool, man. That's fucking dope. And so did Alexis ever sign to a major label or anything like that?
No, we never did that. We like many bands, we signed a horrible record contract when we're getting started. It was with a pretty small record label though. So like that kind of went so bad that we like started our own thing.
Okay, cool.
So Dynalone Records that puts out the Alexis records, and like it was started like with us and our manager to pretty much because of like the experience we had
Yeah.
with our other label to just like know what was going to happen with our next record. And then also at that time, Dallas from Alexis put out the like first City and Color record, like with Dynalone. That was the first release. So
Oh shit! I didn't know there was a tie-in with that. That's fucking cool, man.
yeah, so those are like, yeah, it's all of our like team of people, and it's like turned into like one of the big ones in Canada for sure.
Yeah, yeah. It's a super successful label. A lot of great records coming out on Dine Alone, man. That's fucking cool. That's dope, man. And then so Alexis goes through what 2009, and then there was a disbanded, or was it 12? When did kind of things start to unravel a little bit?
Yeah, maybe 2011 or 12, some shit
Okay.
like that. Um, we decided to call it. Dal wanted to like focus on City and Color full time. His head just wasn't fucking in it anymore, which was a very crazy, like weird thing timing wise, because the Gallows dudes just like hit me up kind of out of nowhere, like at that time,
Yeah.
and it was like, hey, I don't know what's going, I don't know what's like Steph hit me up and was like, I don't know what's up like with Alexis, but like Frank just quit. We're doing our last tour. Like, do you want to like come over and jam with us or something like that? And I was like, funny you should ask. Alexis is fucking dope. Like book the plane ticket. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And through a very like, yeah, wild timing. Yeah, I was like with those guys, like rehearsing like probably 5 days later. And then because they had so much stuff kind of like in the works, like I just kind of like stepped in and we flew out to California and recorded the Joby. And I was like there probably like after the first conversation I had about me like, auditioning or seeing if I was into it even, like, yeah, we were in California, like making that EP with your guitar player.
Yeah. Yeah. In
Yeah.
the Valley in the 818.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Big Game Lodge. I forgot you guys tracked at the Big Game Lodge. Those are good days living in that place, man.
Yeah. It
There's
was
nothing
cool.
there's nothing like waking up in a business park to make you rethink your life.
Yeah. What a
That's
strange, like facet of like LA music. Like,
yeah,
'cause
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
maybe what people that like when people dream of like LA and recording, think of what it's like. And then there's like what it really is like where your guys' old studio was like it's in like a strip mall in East LA. And then there's like the place next door is like doing the audio for porn and they have the fucking door open because they don't have air conditioning. So you just hear like
Yep.
and yeah.
And you
And
made it. And you made it. Congratulations. You made it. Was the Gallows gig ever weird at all? Did it ever feel weird, like coming in as like the second singer or anything like that? Because it's like I think like from a listener's perspective, you fit right in. The records are fucking great, and timing wise, I'm sure, it was great for you to have that. Like you're saying, like just to fucking, hey, this is over, but boom, I can put all my energy and focus right here. Like when the record's done, when you're playing shows and stuff, because you know how England is, man. England's amazing, but they can be, they can love a little bit of drama here and there, especially in the press and things like that. So, did any of that ever fuck with you a little bit, or was it just like, hey, this is my fucking gig. I'm gonna knock it out of the park.
Like on a kind of normal level, we started playing shows. The shows were good. Like
Yeah.
we were making music that I fucking liked. Like that all felt very normal. But I think there was like the press component of it, which Gallows were like this band that was always talked about in the press. And it's like, they're the fucking people would write shit like that's the most dangerous band in the world. And it's like Sex Pistols. And honestly, like that's the shit I hated about Gallows. Like I read that shit before I met them. And I was just like, I was like, the new Clash or whatever. And I like listened to the record and I was like, what? And then I like met the guys. I was like, these guys are great. This is a good band.
Yeah.
But
awesome
like all the
dudes.
fucking sensationalization of it, like, I don't know, that's the part I thought was fucking corny. So like, it was a bit exhausting to just be like put on me all the time. And then there is also the thing of just like, people be like, fuck this guy, he's not British. So on one hand, like I was like, I can't do anything about that. But on the other hand, it was just like, how many times am I going to get told this? But I had some like funny conversations with people. Like, I don't know if like he remembers saying this to me. Like, you guys are like in the midst of a like Dropkick Rancid tour, right?
Yeah.
Like Al said something to me, like along the lines of like at a festival, like I'm still hearing this shit 25 years in. Like, don't sweat it. Good show. And I was just like, I love your band.
Yeah.
I saw Dropkick with with Mike and him, and I was like stoked on him. And I was just like, he was just like, it's fucking fine. He probably doesn't remember saying this at all, but I was like, thank you, Al.
That's fucking cool. Yeah, of course. Coming from Al, that's legit. That's fucking dope, man. And so Gallows got, let's see, we got self-titled 2012, Desolation Sounds 2015. Is there anything past that? Is there new music coming out? Is that still active?
That's like all the stuff we have recorded. We were supposed to do a bunch of gigs like last summer and got caught in the COVID shuffle of everything.
Yeah.
And then even when they got made up this year, like Canada's vaccine rollouts were like super behind. So I physically like couldn't get there.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, when the world opens back up, like fingers crossed we can see what's up.
Yeah, absolutely. That's like, when you're playing a show and the sound guy's always like, oh, once people get in here, it'll be great. It'll be great.
Yeah.
Sounds like shit now, but once people get in here, it'll all be good. Yeah, man. What's 2020? What was it like for you in Canada? What's everything been like up there, man?
It's I don't know. It's so many fucking. It's like such a fucking wild range of emotions.
It's crazy, right?
Like it switched so much, but I think like ultimately, I feel like it was good. It was good to like step away for a minute out of the circus, and it's been great for like writing and recording music. So I've like made a ton of records, and now that things are opening back up, like the Doom's Children record comes out like in a month, less than a month, which is exciting. I like made a record with those dudes, Single Mothers, like play guitar on their new record.
Yeah, awesome. Great band.
And then we're starting to like announce some like Alexis shows for next year. And it's all starting to like creep back in, and it's just been, I think it's honestly been good for like me and a lot of other musicians I know, and like it's certainly had it's been tough, but I think it's benefited kind of me and my close core of friends in just terms of like, just taking a breath for a second. And it's been cool. I mean, I've probably like seen the Alexis dudes like more than ever. like me and like our bass player Chris, like when he's in his downtime, he's a barber. He's not on the road, so it's like he wasn't doing that either. So we just have both been like riding our motorcycles a ton, and like band practice was kind of the closest to normal thing we could do.
Yeah.
And we were having band practice like it was fucking 2002 too, because like we actually had legit nothing going on. So we'd like rehearse and then like order pizza. We had like one of the first rehearsals we had, we rehearsed and then like no one left. Like no one rushed off to do something else or like, you know, see their partner or fucking whatever, 1 million things that we're normally doing.
Yeah.
Everyone just like stayed, we ordered pizza and we watched Escape from New York. And I was like, this is fucking wild.
Yeah.
It was very nice.
Yeah, that's fucking dope. Yeah, I think it was, you know, obviously it's been fucked up, but I think, you know, I'm in the same group as you where it's like I think that, you know, a lot of us have been grinding for so long and you can't really stop, you know, like you can't really stop because everything your livelihood and your everything you do is kind of tied into your work and your whatever you create, your music, your art, things like that. So when it was kind of a forced shutdown, I think it was outside of the initial first wave of anxiety and panic and things like that that everyone kind of went through. At least for me too, man, it was such a blessing to just be able to just fucking just chill the fuck out for a little bit and just kind of, you know, take inventory, rethink, you know, think about what's going on around me and what I want to do and just kind of reset, man. That time was so like so insanely valuable, you know, to just like take everything and put it in perspective and then, you know, start like creating shit, you know. Is that did Doom's Children come out of time off like pandemic style or was that how did the whole project start? Because this is the main reason that I wanted you on this podcast because the 3 songs that I've heard are absolutely fantastic. So let's
Thank you.
dive in. Let's dive into Doom's Children. Tell me how it all started.
I think it all started by me kind of like taking a big like left turn away from heavy music because I was just in a really bad fucking headspace like 2 years ago. I was like very depressed and I felt like everything was fucked
Yeah.
in my personal life. And I felt like it was kind of helping listening to Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. And like
Yeah.
seriously, like listening to, I was like, I gotta soften things up. Like I'm like a raw nerve right now.
Yeah.
And so I was just kind of like immersing myself in like 60s folky stuff and like I had this huge Grateful Dead epiphany. And I finally started hearing it a bit differently. It's like, you know, something I've always been semi-aware of, but not really, you know, and just kind of like really diving into that stuff. And then in a certain way, looking at wanting to make a record like that, but in a way of doing something to kind of like help me work through all the shit I was going through. And just like write some songs that were really personal and kind of help just sift my way through the shit that was like breaking down in my life.
Yeah, man.
And so, yeah, it's like, it's strange. Like half the songs are kind of written in this time where I was like pretty fucked up and like in a pretty bleak state of mind. And then the rest of it like happened after me going to like treatment, writing some shit in there, and then getting out and feeling like a bit of hope and feeling better about life and myself and writing some songs that, yeah, were kind of like a little bit more peaceful, like and more representative of where I was at. So it's pretty fucking heavy. And to be honest, like sometimes I get like, yeah, it's a bit strange to talk about even because I don't think I've ever put myself out there like this bluntly. And I'm glad I have like because the response from people seems to be it's a little bit more intense. It seems like when people reach out and say stuff and the way people identify with it, because I think it is just like I'm not really hiding anything behind anything. It's all pretty fucking out there, and it seems to be, hitting home with people.
Yeah, I think for me, I think it just feels really genuine, just like the songs, the lyrics, and not that anything you've done beforehand isn't, but for some reason, I think that when you have kind of like genres like punk or post hardcore, any whatever you want to call it, I feel like people they just kind of see it as that first before that kind of hits them directly as any sort of like just something coming from your heart of something you're going through, so for me, this stuff hit me way different than anything you've done in the past, and it does feel really good, man. It feels like it's like freeing, it feels light, but it fucking jams too, man. I mean, the fucking guitar work on these fucking songs is absolutely incredible. How'd the songs come together?
So it's with the record was made with uh, Dan and Ian Romano, who are brothers that
Ray
playing
Romano's brothers.
Ray Romano's son. Now two dudes that are from here, like from Niagara area, that play in this like incredible band, Dan Romano's Outfit. Um,
Cool.
and they've got like a ton of records, and but they're guys I've known forever. Like when Alexis was starting, they were in a band called Attack in Black, and we like toured a lot together. And
Cool.
I probably played my first show with their first band. Like our first horrible high school punk bands like played together. And so they're still playing, and they've released like a lot of like country and folk records and like kind of like garage, and their catalog is pretty fucking psycho.
Yeah.
So Dan played guitar on the record and bass and organ and fucking lap steel and
Yeah. Hell yeah.
sang, and his brother played drums and a lot of congas. There's a lot of congas on this,
Yeah.
which I'm very excited about.
Hell yeah. Me
And
too.
then a friend of mine, Pat Bennett from Montreal, who's if you're in Montreal, Pat's in your band. So yeah, those guys were involved in the recording, and yeah, it's very, very different, like musically, and it's just I'm really excited to start playing out live because it's really something that can be jammy as hell. And like on the record, there's like a thing we do a few times, which is like guitar solo into a different guitar solo into like two guitar solos at the same time.
Yeah.
And so I mean, we can get like way more obnoxious than that live for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I'm excited
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. That's gonna be fucking cool. How many songs on the record?
There's I think there's 11.
11. Cool.
Yeah.
And is there or is there not a power ballad?
There's
Don't let
like
me down. Don't let me down. Wait, just say yes. Just say
I'd say it's got is like a very, very, it's got like a Mazzy Star Fade Into You.
Oh,
Right?
okay. I'll take it.
So it's like that's like 90. That's like a different type of power ballad.
Yeah.
It's a real lighters up moment.
Yeah, no, I back that. I back that. Yeah, I can't wait to hear it, man. It comes out October 20th, right? Correct?
Yeah,
Awesome. And where did you record it?
I recorded it in Dan Romano's living room.
Oh shit. So the
Yeah.
Romano's got a studio too, huh?
They got a studio now, but we recorded it like in his house.
Hell yeah.
Which was fucking very sick. Like I did it, and I was just kind of like, why have I not been recording in other houses that have chickens outside?
Ooh,
Like we were like in the country and like go out and have a smoke and look at the chickens. It's great.
yeah, it seems like I dig that kind of experience of the record where you start as like one human being and you kind of come out the other side of it a kind of completely different person, and it seems like where you were at before the record started versus where you're at now is two completely different places, and it feels like now is obviously better than where you were before, and I think that's awesome, man. So congratulations.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah. It's pretty fucking cool, man. So, and I know too, sometimes with fucking punk and stuff, man, and lyrics and writing, sometimes you don't even know you're doing it, but sometimes you just you keep yourself too dark, you keep yourself too hard. You're convinced you gotta like always come from this wild ass place, and it feels good to just take off the fucking armor for a little bit and just fucking, just be yourself, just be yourself a little bit. Like, honestly, dude, like with the mariachi stuff, that was like one thing I didn't fucking notice until it happened. And it was like, holy shit, like this, I've been holding all this stuff in because I figured I had to be like a punk rock angry guy all the fucking time, So having that different outlet is a fucking lifesaver, man. So I'm stoked for you. I can't wait to hear the whole record.
Can I share a mariachi story with you real quick?
Hell yeah, let's go.
When we made the Gallows EP with Joby, like I
Mhm.
think it was around the time, like not that long after the first one came out, after the first mariachi record. So there was like the instruments were like all over the studio. And I was like, what is this thing? Like some like I think it was like maybe the bass guitar,
Yeah,
like
the guitarone, the guitarone.
yeah, the guitar. And I was like, what do you do with this thing? And he's like, got it. He's like, got a smoke and it's kind of going into his eye. He's got his foot up on like the couch and he's like tuning it. And then the bridge just like
Snaps.
completely snaps off and the thing just turns into like fucking sawdust. And it was the best. Because
Yeah,
he was like explaining to me about the instrument and what it does, and it just fucking exploded.
That is classic Joby Ford. That is that is that is Joby Ford summed up in a story right there. That is absolutely fucking hilarious, man. Yeah, I mean those instruments are no joke, man. It's so cool. It's like I was a lucky one. I just got to fucking write and sing over all that shit, But those guys were, Joby was learning like, mariachi patterns and rhythms on fucking YouTube and shit, man. Just going to town on that shit. They all put in work and having Vince in the group, obviously, to kind of make sure we were doing everything the right way was absolutely key. But yeah, man, it was a whole new experience for me. And it's like I think that that's kind of what this feels like from an outsider perspective for you. It feels like a cool, like you're really enjoying this record. Like these songs were a really, fun, like, process to write and record and make in the studio and finally get them out. So, and the visuals are awesome, man. Who's doing the artwork?
This dude named Jason Wright,
Okay.
who's from Richmond, and just love his shit. And he fucking is just murdering the art.
And the Chopper Daddy is one of my favorite things to happen.
Yeah.
And
There's
how long have you been a Chopper Daddy? Because you were, I mean, you still are technically Tat Daddy. You're always going to be Tat Daddy, but now you've added Chopper Daddy into the mix, so you are a legit double threat, my man.
I think especially me doing the Dooms Children record with like as the Chopper Daddy. I think there's a thing that I really love is the Allman Brothers, but more specifically 90s Allman Brothers. Like where the Allman Brothers came back as like rockin' dads with a lot of turquoise jewelry. And there's there's a lot of like late era Dwayne Allman like riding his Softails videos and like around the Smoky Mountains. And I'm like, this, as far as I'm concerned, this is the coolest era of the Allman Brothers.
Yeah.
Like old ass Dwayne Allman on like a grandpa motorcycle.
Yeah, that's hard.
I'm just
That's
skipping.
tough to beat.
I'm just skipping into that stage. All that shit where people like get, like Hondas and then they get fucking Sportsters and all that.
No.
I'm just going into my 60s.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, with style.
Yeah.
That's fucking great, man. That's dope. And I wanted to ask you too about the soundtrack work. Like what you've scored, how many movies? Is it one movie, 2 movies? Is it Goon?
Probably like 4 or 5 and like it's kind of like, it's crazy. I worked on that film Goon, the hockey film, and that dude Jay Baruchel that like wrote the movie and acted and directed it and everything has really like opened up the door for me to do that stuff.
Hell yeah.
And he's the fucking man. And I've been like, I worked on another project of his, Random Acts of Violence, which was a horror film that came out last year. And but like just from working on that one film, like I got asked to do a horror film called The Ranger. And then like, the music from that, someone asked me to like do some music for like video game shit, which ended up being like I did a lot of music for Far Cry 5, the video game, and then like a bunch of shit for Vice, like for Dark Side of the Ring, for the first two seasons of that show. And then yeah, it's just like it's been one thing, like one person from everything I've worked on is like, oh, I'm doing this other thing that we should talk about. So for like quite a few years, I was just like kind of doing more of that than anything else. And yeah, one thing keeps leading to another, and it's like it's pretty fucking it's been cool. It's just like in the same way that we talked about me stepping into a different zone for Doom's Children or you doing the mariachi stuff. It's just like a whole other way of writing that is like cool and freeing. And also just when I come back to like being in a room with like the dudes and writing, it makes me look at music a little bit different and makes me do stuff in the studio a bit different. And it's cool.
Yeah, man, it's fucking really cool. When you do it, is it like, are you just kind of like, do you send in songs, or are you doing like legit, they send you like the scene with no music to it, and fucking do you sit in a room like naked and like absorb it and then write?
It's like what happens is like
you throwing stuff at the screen,
Maybe I should try and do it vibier like that. But yeah, like what happens is like I get a cut of the film. It's all with like temporary music.
Okay.
It's time coded out, and then talk to the director. Some of the temp stuff like they love, or some of it they hate.
Yeah.
And we'll just talk about what it's going to be, and begin the process of like going through everything. But one of the things that's the best about doing the film music is just giving me an opportunity to make stuff I would never ever do, like like that film Random Acts of Violence I worked on, like for an example, like okay, as the like boyfriend and girlfriend are like packing for their trip, like before this road trip, and I know like the stereo's on in the background, like what's playing, like the way the apartment looks, like the way this couple is. And so it's just like, I was like, probably be something like, I don't know, like, I feel like these people would be listening to the Smiths. Like that's the vibe. And then so it's like, I get to write something that sounds like How Soon Is Now.
Yeah.
And then like find someone to like sing it and then like treat it. So it sounds, it's like it's in the back of the room and reverbed out and like kind of like stereo fucked with. And it just gives me an opportunity to make something like that.
Yeah, whereas that's cool.
I'm not making a record of Smiths sounding songs,
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was fucking a blast to do.
Yeah.
And that's like the best part of the film stuff for sure.
Is there any plans for Doom's Children live when you trying to break out?
Yeah, so like the first shows are early December. So I'm doing a show at Massey Hall here in Toronto, and then I'm doing a show at Metropolis in Montreal, which are like my two favorite spots in the country. And then I feel like hopefully Canada-US border restrictions fucking soften up a little bit, and start touring. Like once the record's out, I want to start playing. I mean, I'm gonna need to put together a band of like 9 people to fucking. I gotta get a conga player. And,
obviously.
But I mean, even that in itself is like, I'm excited to put together like a big band and like do some shit that's different. So
you're going big band style. You're blowing
I'd
it
like
out.
to. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll
are
see.
the Romanos touring?
I think they're going to play the first couple gigs with me.
Okay.
But like they're kind of they're busy with their own stuff.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure I try and like sort out a band that like we can actually go out and like get it.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Hell yeah, man. And I know you've done a shitload of touring over the years here. So what are some of your favorite places to play? What are your favorite cities around the world?
I only went to Sao Paulo once.
Ooh, I've never been, man. I want to go.
It was like it was one of the best ones ever. It was a real trip. So like when things are like good again, and feels like we're headed there. Like definitely would like to not just like go to do Sao Paulo too, like do like a South American tour, like a couple weeks. It was nuts. It was like a very, I think because Alexis like didn't play there for so long, but we knew we had fans.
Yeah.
When we finally went, it was just, I don't like, sorry, I started laughing. There was this guy like in front of me. There was like a huge guy, like bigger than me, like a huge sick of it all dragging on his throat. And he was just like bawling when we walked on the stage. And it was just like, just like a mountain of a guy just weeping from happiness. And it's incredible. But like, that was the mood. Like people were like tripping the fuck out that we were there finally. And it was like, we fucking hit the chorus of like our first song. And like people were singing so goddamn loud, like couldn't hear not like only like lamps, couldn't hear the drums. I don't think that's ever happened.
That's
before.
fucking crazy, man. That's
It was a
fucking
trip.
awesome.
And so I'd love to go back there. I love touring Australia because
same.
It's very Canadian, but you're at the beach. So it's like fucking, it's kind of like I'm at home, and I feel like people's like humor is kind of the same.
Yeah, it's true. I never really thought about that. That does make some sense. It does have a Canadian vibe to it.
Tropical.
Tropical Canada.
So it's fucking like, I love being there. Our shows are great there. People are fucking great. And I don't know. It's just like nice, especially with like the reverse seasons. If I can escape Canadian winter and arrive in Australian summer, it's like it's the greatest trick the devil ever pulled.
Yeah, Australia is one of the coolest places. We're supposed to be going back there at some point next year, but they're up against it right now, man. I don't know, what's going to happen with that. So hopefully they get everything figured out and we can go back there and tour and play some tunes sometime soon, man. That would be fucking great.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, it's like I've been lucky to, to do a lot of traveling, and like, I don't know, like there's a lot of, I'd say Gallows did a lot more of Eastern Europe than Alexis ever did. And like, I don't know, playing in like Poznan in Poland or some shit like that. It was like, there's some wild fucking gigs, like in more Eastern spots of Europe. And I don't know, I love traveling. Like I love the feeling of like culture shock.
Yeah,
like,
same.
I like feeling like if I get lost, I can't talk to anybody. And like I'm very far away from home, and it's totally different. And I do my best to like experience like culturally what's different, and like, like try the fucking food and just like soak up the vibe. And then, a really beautiful thing happens is like, even though there's these language barriers and so many differences, the show happens and like everybody comes together, and like, like people sing the songs, like sing these songs we wrote in a basement, like in fucking St. Catharines, like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But we're in a place I haven't been able to communicate with people all day. Yeah. And we're like sharing this thing, and I'm like pointing at some guy like who's singing it back at me. And that's like the most profound thing about being able to do this is that's fucking magic.
Yeah, man, absolutely, brother. I couldn't agree more. We played this festival on like the tip of Norway once, man, and it was just a wild ass village, and it was like, there the like the food was basically like this, you go like try to find some festival hot dog or something like that, and it was all just like dried fish, and then we're playing the show, and like there's this guy, and he's kind of like singing, and he's like pointing this dry fish skin at me or whatever it is, and I'm just like, what the fuck, so I reach down, and I grab it from him, and he's like, yeah, and the crowd starts chanting, eat, 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 eat. And so I took a bite of this, dude. It was like you couldn't even chew it, dude. I don't even know, it was just like raw, just like hard skin. It was absolutely disgusting, but culturally appropriate. And I feel like, it made the show that much better, so
Oh my
little
God, of
little
course.
sacrifices you got to make. But yeah, man, that shit's the
People are
best,
telling
dude.
people are telling that story right now.
Dude,
Someone's like, the Bronx
I
came here, Matt ate the fish.
yeah, I
We'll
can't
move
wait to
on.
get back. I can't wait to get back to, places like like Eastern Europe's crazy, dude. And you get out there in some wild ass places, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be nice to get back on the road, worldwide, man. And
Hmm.
I can't wait. I know you can't either. Cool, brother. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I appreciate you being on the podcast. Outside of music, which you've pretty much covered all the bases. You've got punk rock, you've got post hard. What do you call Alexis? Is that post hardcore? Is that where you're going with it? You know, what genre would you say that is?
You know
Yeah.
what? I feel like I probably would have wanted people to call us a post-hardcore band because I started getting stressed out about hearing the word screamo. You
Oh
know,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
whereas like when I first started listening to screamo, I was like, oh yeah, sick, like Orchid, page 99. Like I liked it, but then that became synonymous with something else. But I'm back on it. We're a screamo band.
Yeah, yeah, there you
Taking
go.
it back.
That makes sense. So
Ah,
you got that, and then you got your Allman Brothers fix. You're doing soundtracks. So you are at this point a very accomplished musician, man. Congratulations on the discography. It's pretty fucking incredible. How does it feel, at this point in your life to be able to look back and been through, what you've been through musically? You've got, I don't know, probably you've released maybe over 10 records now, just if
Probably,
not
yeah,
just
yeah.
about. Like how does what in kind of the grand scheme of life, what does music mean to you? What does it mean to you now? Like how has it, affected your life?
Music, I don't know. It's affected my life in the most incredible way. Like honestly, and it keeps shifting. It's when I was young, it was like going to shows and finding heavy music was like a place for me to escape from like a bad situation at home and like gave me a place to be and gave me like a family and a community of people that um like accepted me and were there for me when shit was very fucked up for me. Like, and it's how I was able to travel everywhere. It's how I met like all of my closest friends. It's like how I met you. It's like how I've like learned so much about like myself and the world and the way I view everything. And yeah, I don't know. It just like it keeps giving me so much. It's even just in working through this like last record and working through the Dooms Children stuff. Like it was there for me in a very big way when like yeah, I was going through another very tumultuous time in my life. So I think maybe it's a cliche for a reason when people say like music saved their life, but like it keeps doing that for me. And I'm so happy to like be playing, and it just keeps getting more interesting and weirder and more beautiful. And yeah,
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. That's a good place to stop, my brother. I appreciate it, Wade. Thank you very much, man.
thanks,
Means a
man.
lot. Yeah, absolutely, man. You take care, brother. Peace. Oh, yeah. That's a wrap on episode 20, ladies and gentlemen. As usual, huge shout out to our guest, the one and only Wade McNeal. Wade, awesome time catching up, brother. Really appreciate you being on the podcast. Cannot wait for that Dooms Children record coming out October 20th, ladies and gentlemen. Check out the tunes that are already available on Spotify, Apple Music, however you stream your music. It's on YouTube as well, so check that out. You can give Wade a follow on Instagram at Wade McNeal. The last name is MacNeil. And of course, you can follow Doom's Children as well. You better be following Sailor Jerry. You better be following 213 Matt Man. And you better know by now that Sailor Jerry spiced rum is made the old school way. 92 proof, bold and smooth as hell. We'll see you on the flip side. Peace.